Good afternoon. H1 McClung, N9, Suicide Prevention Coordinator. I'll be giving the brief today on the Suicide Prevention Program. Before I start, I just want to let everybody know, everybody in this room here is a leader. Everybody is responsible for this program, okay? Doesn't matter your rank, where you fall within the command, we're all responsible. All right. Navy Suicide Prevention Program provides policies and resources to the fleet, encouraging an organizational climate that supports and develops leaders, fosters resilience, and promotes total sailor fitness. Every leader has a responsibility, as I just said, to develop a climate that allows sailors to seek help, receive help, and be welcomed back to the unit. All right, just the facts. Among top 3 causes of death in the Navy annually, average 2,000 suicide-related behaviors annually. Navy rate is similar to the Air Force. Most occur at home or off duty, usually not related to deployments. 60 or 70% are by personal firearm. Barracks deaths by hangings. Aviation nuclear rates, MAs, and medical have highest rates. Relationship problems, transition periods, legal, and mental health problems. Only 30% of sailors who die by suicide sought mental health care. Gatekeepers include families, TPU staff, legal staff, and instructors. All right, why do some choose to end their lives? There is no single cause. There's a lot of different factors, but there's no single cause, as you can see here. One of the big ones, limited problem-solving skills and coping skills, just not knowing how to cope with the issues that they're going through. Hopelessness, impulsivity, and rigidity. All right, some of the suicide risk factors. 2 different examples here. You have our societal factors, and then we actually have factors that are unique to the Navy itself. As you can see here, some of them blend together, and then we have some stressors that are just really unique to ourselves. Just a few, for example, for the stressors unique to the Navy: lack of privacy, Navy culture, and the warrior pride. We have that warrior pride. We don't want to talk about anything. We don't want to seek help. We just want to work through it ourselves. Fear or loss of career, fear that you're going to have eval issues, fear that you're going to have some type of issue with your career, that it's going to be a burden upon your career. Excessive use of energy drinks, familiarity with weapons. Those are all some of the unique stressors that we deal with as Navy sailors. All right, next up, understanding some of the warning signs. Is path warm? Always follow that. Is path warm? If you're inside any of these circles here, we need to start talking through it and getting some help. Ideation, or getting our sailors help. Ideation, substance abuse, purposelessness, anxiety, trapped, hopeless, withdrawal, anger, reckless, and mood changes. And we're going to connect these dots. If we're falling within any of these circles, it's time to start speaking with someone. Before I go any further, can everyone hear me okay? In the back? Okay, thank you. Recognizing risk in sailors. Listen to our sailors. It's the biggest thing. Get to know our sailors. Know what their personality is, what they like, what they don't like. Understand when they come into the office if something isn't quite right. Things to look for: declining self-care, weight loss or gain, being disheveled in appearance, no future plans, social media posts with increasing images of alcohol, weapons, feeling of loneliness and rejection. And at the bottom here, of course, suicide is preventable. We can prevent this. All right, connecting the dots. Who's at risk? This is a declining swirl here that we don't want to start down. You start down some of this tornado here, downward, things start to get really bad, and you get to a point where maybe you feel like you can't get out of this spiral. Some of the examples: history, ongoing stressors, so the disgruntled social network, warning signs, judgment factors, and access to lethal weapons. It really starts to lead us down that path, and you get to the point of where it feels like there's a no return. but there is. Protective factors, individual protective factors, good problem-solving skills, cognitive flexibility, coping skills, having some good hobbies. You know, if you're into sports or if you're into games, finding something that you can take your mind off of it and work through some of the life stressors that we go through on a day-to-day basis. Willing to seek help, like I talked about earlier with the warrior pride. A lot of times we're not willing to seek that help. Emotional regulation, spirituality, resilience, and then some of the command level things that we can do. Unit cohesion, belonging and purpose, engaged and concerned leaders, strong relationships, time for sleep, and exercise. Exercise is huge. Being able to get out and have a good exercise regimen on a weekly basis really improves the mood and helps you just be a healthier, better sailor. Access to good nutrition, work-life balance, and professional environment. All right, prevent suicide by focusing on resilience, focusing on protective factors, life skills, like we've been talking about, really stressing the life skills and coping skills. Strengthen social and family relations connected, deepen sense of purpose, and recognize belonging. Everybody wants to belong. Okay. All right, why we don't seek help. Most sailors believe they would receive help if they asked, and their peers would be supportive. However, as we can see here, there's a lot of factors that go into why people don't ask for help. Many believe they would be treated differently. They fear they would lose the trust of their leaders and negatively impact their career. They would lose their security clearance, which is not going to happen. Most fear of loss of privacy, fear of gossip, being perceived as weak, and discouraging command climate. Get over it. Get over it. All right, the truth about seeking help. Less than 1% of security clearance denials involve psychological health concerns. Psychological health condition or seeking professional help will not automatically disqualify you or one of our sailors for a security clearance. What does not need to be reported for a security clearance? Counseling related to adjustment service in military combat environment, marital or family concerns, grief counseling, counseling related to being a victim of sexual assault. Once again, seeking help is a sign of strength. All right. 5 things to know about reducing access for lethal means. Why was the guidance developed? Firearms were used in a majority of the suicides that happen. What does the guidance do? Commanding officers and health professionals may ask sailors who they believe to be at risk to give up their weapon. Do they have to give up their weapon if their commanding officer asks them? I'm sorry? No. Thank you very much. They do not have to. It's a recommendation. It's probably for the benefit of the sailor, and would probably be a huge benefit to get that weapon out of their possession and get it stored away somewhere, either on an installation or somewhere safe where we know that the sailor's not going to be close to that weapon until they get brought back up to a good mental health status, okay? Yes. Helping a suicidal person, ask, care, treat. Say it again, ask, care, treat. In my experience over my career, I've dealt with a few of these, probably more than I would like to, but every time I've sat down and I just listen. I don't talk until they're ready for me to talk. I sit there and listen and ask them, tell me what's going on and let's work through this. And a lot of times that really helps the situation. And then we get them to where they need to be. If it's to a medical facility, if it's with a chaplain, whichever it may be, just listening to somebody really helps. Are you thinking about suicide? That's the big thing whenever you start this sit down with a sailor. Is you have to ask that hard question. Are you thinking about suicide? And depending on where they go with that answer, that's how we start the treatment process. Get them to a medical facility and get them taken care of. Postvention, any activity following a suicide that promotes recovery and healing of shipmates and family. can help prevent anxiety, depression, and other negative impacts of suicide exposure, such as contagion. Goals of postvention: set a foundation for healthy grieving, identify and refer those most at risk for behavioral health concerns, including suicide, safely memorialize the deceased. Sorry about that. And the three phases of postvention: stabilize, grieve, grow. Stabilize, grieve, and grow. Can't say it any better. Let's grow from the experience and move past it, and have a good, healthy mental state. More on postvention: seeking help's a sign of strength. It's been stressed over and over through these slides. Ensure that the support resources are in place and accessible. You have your chaplain, medical, FFSC counselor, deployed resilience counselor. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to set limits and say no to things that may hamper the healing process. Relationships can provide a sense of community, hope, and purpose. Reach out, share, and actively listen. Like predictability, the presence of trust before and after a tragedy promotes emotional health. Share meaning and foster hope with your shipmates and the command. All right, some resources for our sailors. Some local resources: a chain of command, chaplains, 100% confidentiality. We can always reach out to the chaps, and they're great listeners. Fleet and family support services, counseling classes, education, support programs, SAIL, the Sailor Assistance and Intercept for Life, primary care manager and primary care mental health provider. And then some of our national resources: we have Military One Source, National Suicide Prevention Hotline, Veterans Military Crisis Line, and the DoD Safe Helpline. Some more resources here. That's it. Does anyone have any questions? Nothing at all?
No.
Sir.
What's the hotline number?
988, sir.
Say it again?
988.
One more time?
988.
Okay, sir.
What's the hotline number? Thank you.